Yes, hello, this is Mika HÄKKINEN. Welcome to DTM and come to Hockenheim.
And a very big welcome, of course, to Mika HÄKKINEN, starting his racing career again after a little break. The double world champion with McLaren, and the lure of the DTM could not keep him away. But it's all going to start here at Hockenheim, the first of 11 rounds of this year's DTM. And cars here in the pits, some 10 new drivers, not only Mika, but also big names like Le Mans winner Alan McNish. But there is the defending champion, Matthias Ekstrom. But first, Mika's thoughts.
First of all, retiring Formula One in 2001. I had a couple of years off and suddenly started burning again inside me the will to come back to motor racing, and DTM was the right decision.
Yeah, Mika joins along with some new rules, including what is normally known as success ballast. And this includes adding weight to all the cars of the winning makes. Quite a complicated formula, but the most important thing is they'll never run with more than 20 kilos above or below the main limit. And the cars from 2004, they are allowed to run a lighter weight than the 2005 cars. Just to clarify this a little bit more, if Mercedes, for instance, wins this race, then in the next race, they'll all the Mercedes will run with an extra 10 kilos. If they win the race after that, it's another 10 kilos, but that is the maximum. So let's look at the famous Hockenheim track. And this is the circuit, of course, where the DTM always starts. The full Grand Prix circuit in use today. Let's hear about it from Matthias Ekstrom.
Now we are coming up to turn 1, 5th gear, braking hard, put 4th gear in, cut the inside curb very hard, using the outside curb just a little bit to get good speed down to corner number 2. Nothing special, just trying to make a very good exit so that I have good speed when I go down this very, very long straight down to the hairpin. And on this straight we go with 6th gear and about 270 kilometers an hour. What is very important here is that you brake very late and also look in the mirror so no one is there, because here it's easy to overtake and also to be overtaken. So from 6th gear down to 1st, full steering lock to the right, here on power, a lot of wheel spin if you are not careful, but that's the most interesting thing here. Flat coming back to the Mercedes arena, 5th gear. Braking hard in front of the Mercedes fans. 2nd gear in this corner, very slippery always. Putting 3rd gear back in for exiting the Mercedes arena. Now coming back to the Motordrome, putting 4th gear in. And into the Motordrome, it's always very important to have a good line, because once you brake for the Sachs corner, you have to be very well prepared, because otherwise someone will overtake you. From Sachs corner now we go up to the final 2 corners, which is the Opel corners, and here it's one of the most fabulous corners to drive because they're very interesting. Now we come back to start and finish. That's the lap on Hockenheim.
Yes, that's how to drive it with the current champion, Matthias Ekstrom of Sweden. And there is his new for 2005 Audi. Note the new style grille, which we see on all road-going A4s these days. And let's move on to qualifying. And this man was the big surprise, a total touring car DTM rookie, Jamie Green, one of 3 drivers Mercedes-Benz have promoted from the Euro F3 series, which of course sits alongside the DTM, putting in a sensational effort, going for Ekstrom's time. There you see it on the screen. And Jamie Green, fantastic result by him.
Yeah, I think 3rd's a good result, so I'm very happy. And obviously it's a completely different thing, the Super Pole. I've never done a 1-lap qualifying before, so I'm quite happy with what I did.
So what can the other Brit in the team, the Green Mirrors, mean? Gary Paffett, of course. Gary, runner-up in the series last year. Pretty unlucky to be disqualified from one race when the car ran out of fuel after the checkered flag. And here is Gary pushing hard. He wants to be the quickest Brit in the Mercedes-Benz team. His car run by the full factory outfit, unlike Green's car, although Green's car is a 2005 machine. This single lap qualifying, only the 10 fastest in qualifying go through to the Super Pole contest. And look at Paffett working those tyres, and that's so important. And Paffett crosses the line.
Yeah, really good. I mean, as you say, nobody knows how quick the cars are before qualifying, and now after qualifying they look pretty close, so it's going to be a tight season. But I'm fairly happy with second. I mean, third in the qualifying was okay, but I knew I could get on quicker, and I actually went slower, so I'm a bit disappointed with the lap, to be honest. So, you know, for sure I could have been on pole position, but the front row is pretty good for the first race anyway.
So who is the man who took the pole? We've already ridden with him around this Hockenheim circuit. The new style Audi. A lot of changes underneath the car, and Ekstrom crosses the finish line now and takes the pole right there. Ekstrom on the pole for Audi. Yeah, thanks to the good experience I had here last year. I know a few tricks about this track, and we made some tiny adjustments, and that helped us with some decisive tenths of a second, and well, that translated into pole position. I'm really happy with the performance and the performance of the whole Audi team. A huge crowd here. It's a record. Ekstrom on the pole from Paffett Green. FÄSSLER looking good for Opel. Then Jean Alesi. Spengler, another rookie from F3 in sixth. Tomczyk, the old champion Schneider. Tom Christensen, and then Stefan Mika. Well, 2 weeks before the start of the first race, for the second year running, the DTM was presented in the northern city of Hamburg, and over 20,000 fans turned out to watch. The chief executive of the ITR who run this series is Hans-Werner Albrecht. Judging from the advanced sales for Hockenheim, he says, I think we're in for a monster year. I believe that the steps we have taken are showing positive effects. Firstly, the stronger pan-European perspective, and secondly, the fact that the teams have managed to sign young and promising pilots, and of course, Mika HÄKKINEN. Huge banquet was held on the night before the official launch, and the following morning in front of the Elbe River, all the drivers lined up. Mercedes complete with their young faces and some very familiar ones too. Jean Alesi in their squad. Amongst Audi, quite a lot of changes. Alan McNish joins that team, and then now just 4 drivers for Opel. There was a pit stop competition, and while Mercedes-Benz had problems, Opel got it absolutely together. Marcel FÄSSLER spinning the wheels to win. Plenty of autographs. Mika was certainly in great demand, as were some of the youngsters, like Spengler there. And then there was a drive around the streets of Hamburg, with the DTM V8s reverberating around the city. But let's move on then to the race itself, this 4.574 kilometre track. 37 laps coming up, a total distance of 169 kilometres. There is Mika looking forward to his race return. A huge crowd here. The official number 116,000 for the weekend. And of course, DTM is very fan-friendly indeed. The flags are waving, Opel flags, Audi flags, and of course, the Mercedes flags. Here is the circuit. As we said, 37 laps for this starting grid. Ekstrom on the pole after that superb performance. Paffett starts second. Then it's Jamie Green, the rookie, the European F3 champion, Marcel FÄSSLER, the best of the Opels. Behind him, Jean Alesi and another newcomer, Bruno Spengler. Then Martin Tomczyk. Alongside him, the most successful driver in the DTM, Bernd Schneider. And behind him, the most successful driver from Le Mans, 6 times Le Mans winner, Tom Christensen. Then it's Stefan Mika. He's in a 2004 car. The second of the Opels, Laurent Aiello, with Christian Abt. Frank Stippler out of the Porsche Super Cup Series with Alan McNish. Mika HÄKKINEN still coming to grips with Alexandros Margaritis, Manuel Reuter, Pierre Caffer, Heinz-Harald Frentzen right at the back after problems, and then Ronaldo Capello, another Le Mans winner. Ready for the start, then they're going to launch themselves into that first corner. We've seen problems here before. Tremendous start from Paffett. Look at Paffett. Paffett comes across to take the lead from Ekstrom. What's happening behind? There's lots of locking up. Oh, we got cars off. One spearing across the track. Oh, Tom Christiansen and Dindo Capello. They're in a big heat. Laurent Aiello, I think, was involved in that as well. But two of the best Audi drivers out immediately. Well, we've seen so many accidents at that first corner, but normally the cars don't finish on the inside. The safety car has been deployed, but out at the front they're still racing Paffett from Ekstrom, FÄSSLER, and Dindo Capello extracting himself from the wreckage, and the safety car will bring everyone to a halt. Aiello is out of his car. Tom Christian explains the problem.
Coming into turn one, there was a lot of things happening out on the wet stuff, and by the time I arrive, Aiello, I think, comes out of the darkness, out of the smoke, and initially I want to go inside of him, but he keeps rolling, and in the end I brake, and more or less at the time I brake, I get a big hit from the back and push me into Aiello, which is then an even higher impact. I think it was Reuter, but obviously he's trying to do the same as me, so there's no bad feeling. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, let's have a look at a replay of that accident, and most of the incident happened around the corner, really. There's the car spinning across the track, and then everyone collects everyone else.
An Opel, I think Laurent spun in the first corner, and just he crossed the track when I was there, and then I had no chance to avoid this car, and it was quite a hard impact.
Let's see if we can view it from another angle. Yeah, lots of cars out on the apron there, but the real impact coming on the inside of the track, and the two Audis together. So the safety car continues around. So this race certainly starting with a bang. We can see a replay of the start. Subsequently, everybody brought to a halt, and here is the restart. Pretty much similar to the first one we saw, with yet again Paffett taking the lead. So the safety car peels off. Paffett it is, who heads Matthias Ekstrom. Then it's the Opel of FÄSSLER, the three makes in first, second and third. Then it's Jamie Green. What a sensational start to his DTM career. The young man from Leicester. John Alesi up there in fifth place. And Alan McNish already moved into the top 10. He's in ninth place. And Mika makes his first pit stop in DTM. Each car has to make 2 pit stops. They are allowed but not obliged to put fuel in. The tyres have to be managed very carefully, but look at Ekstrom now, comes out of the slipstream, drives all the way round the outside of Gary Paffett into the hairpin, but maybe loses out as they accelerate. A little tiny bit of nudging going on, and they are neck and neck. Two of the great young guns, somebody spinning off in the background there. That's one of, that was Margaritis, one of the young Mercedes drivers. Looks as if he's got involved with Heinz-Harald Frentzen. So Frentzen starting his second year in DTM in trouble. But Paffett has managed to hold off that Ekstrom attack. FÄSSLER is third, Green fourth, Alesi fifth. Steiner in fifth place, Spengler going well. Mika, McNish and Stippler, the man who's come out the Porsche Cup Series in Germany. So Gary Paffett won this race last year when he was promoted to the top spot. His door's coming open, did you see that? Gary Paffett's door is coming open. Well, that will take his attention away a little bit from holding off Ekstrom. And here is the rest of the Mercedes-Benz field. We're fully into the first pit stop window now. Paffett will come in. These are the quickest pit stops in motor racing. Just look at the times. Just about 5 seconds quicker even on a Grand Prix stop. Well, some drivers have stopped, others haven't. Jean Alesi is promoted to the lead from Jamie Green and Schneider. Mercedes-Benz first, second, third, fourth and fifth. And the best of the rest at the moment is Alan McNish. But we have to go through this cycle here. And I understand that Mercedes-Benz may have some different strategies going on here. And that some drivers, and particularly Jean Alesi out front, may go for a long first stint and a short second stint. There, some of the Heinz Harold Frentzen getting a new bonnet, and maybe we can see what went on there. Here is the replay. That's the replay of the battle for the lead. Cars absolutely wheel to wheel, wheel nut to wheel nut, and well, you couldn't really tell what happened there, apart from the fact that Margaritis, the German-Greek driver, out of Formula 3 tangle with the former Grand Prix winner Heinz Harold Frentzen. The air horns go off. And Jean Alesi still staying out. Schneider still staying out in his car. V8 powered Mercedes-Benz. Every one of this series using V8 engines. Alesi, Green, Schneider, Mika, McNish, Kaffer and Abt. And that basically reflects the people who have not made their pit stops. So Mercedes-Benz, the three-pointed star, looking very good here. Down into that hairpin again. The Hockenheim track, of course, reduced in length about 3 years ago, but the drivers like this new layout. And, well, it looked to me, in that slow replay, that Heinz Harold Frentzen just dived in too deep and tapped the back of Margaritis' car. We go on board with Ekstrom here in this battle with Paffett, and he goes by him right with our camera on board. So they continue to battle. Remember, some drivers have made a pit stop, others haven't. The whole order is shaken but not stirred. And there is the man that controls the Mercedes-Benz purse strings, Norbert Haug. And he has really pushed the DTM so hard. Believes it's a great training ground for the future. But Jean Alesi is, in a way, looking to the past as that great Grand Prix ace in the days, spanning Tyrrell through to Ferrari and onwards from there. He continues to lead from Green and Schneider. And you can't help but be impressed by this man, Jamie Green. Out of karting, into single-seater racing, has never, ever raced anything with a roof over his head before. On board with Mika HÄKKINEN. And Mika finding out there's a lot of special tricks about the DTM. I don't think anyone really expected him to be right at the front from the beginning. And a great mural painted down the side of that car. But Mika certainly in touch, not disgracing himself by any manner or means. Jamie Green, though, has really excelled. And Green in the battle with Schneider. Green with the orange mirrors. It's Paffett who has the green mirrors, if you get my gist. And he's right in front of the winningest driver in DTM. But Schneider, also a former sports car champion for Mercedes-Benz. The longest serving, of course, of the Mercedes pilots. And Green suddenly peels off to come into the pits. And that seemed like a little bit of a late decision. Now you've got to watch the speed limit here. And an Audi coming in behind him as well. One of the 2004 cars. You can tell them by the older style grille. And there is Pierre Capper, the man who did so well in the American Le Mans Series in the Audi sports car last year in the R8. And of course the R8 will be going into yet another Le Mans 24-hour race. But here is Paffett, a little caught up in the traffic here, down in 9th position. There is Jamie Green as he returns to the track. Well, Mercedes-Benz lost the championship last year to Audi, but they've come out fighting in 2005. And we have, this is a replay here of Gary Paffett. Disregard the caption. And see there that Paffett's door is just coming open. And that's going to be a bit of a problem for young Gary Paffett. Just lives north of London. He's worked in motor racing all his life. And here's another of the British contenders making his pit stop. The DTM rookie Alan McNish, former Grand Prix racer for Toyota, tester for Renault, American Le Mans Series champion, Le Mans winner. And Alan finished second in the Sebring 12 Hours just a few weeks earlier. His first drive of the year for Audi. Very much a favourite with the Audi team, but his first season in a DTM car. So we're just about a third of the way through now. And it's looking very good for Mercedes-Benz. Meanwhile, we're looking at Marcel FÄSSLER's car from the back of the Ekstrom Audi. And the Ekstrom Audi just behind Gary Paffett's car, which you can see still has the door coming open. Let's watch this Ekstrom attack then down the inside very cleanly. And there is Ekstrom going past FÄSSLER, who used to be a Mercedes-Benz driver. Switched to Opel last year, and we see it again. And a very clean move from the young Swede. Also enjoys his rallying. Took part in his home Swedish rally in the WRC Skoda. Tom Christensen disappointed to be looking on, the 6 times Le Mans winner. Stefan Mika then is currently in second place, and that top 3 have not made a pit stop. Just hearing that Bernd Schneider may have to make an extra pit stop, being a black flag for an infringement, we believe. So that puts Paffett in a strong place. But Jean Alesi certainly has started the season very well, yet to make that pit stop. There is that door again, and let's hope that he isn't flagged off by the stewards, who may consider this dangerous. Here's the rear part of Margaritis' car. So the carbon fibre really damaged there. Nearly all these cars have their carbon fibre panels made by the Dave Price Composites firm in the UK. And there is a bit of Dave's work lying on the track. Wonderful shot here of Jean Alesi then, going on a very long first stint. Meanwhile, slow-mo action coming up. This is Margaritis. Oh, gets wide. Remember, the rear of the car already damaged, and when it goes backwards, another bit of the bodywork flies off. Maybe he lost some downforce because of the damaged bodywork. And here comes Jean Alesi then to make his very first pit stop. Interesting strategy then from Alesi. And, well, a nice clear track to re-enter, a nice clear pit lane. Good thinking here from the team. There is the man with Sicilian parents, of course. Jean Alesi saw a great shot of the fuel going in, just 20 litres dumped into the car, and Alesi returns to the track. And he is behind Schneider. So it's Mercedes 1, 2 and 3, then it's Ekstrom, then FÄSSLER. Green has dropped back to 7th. Pierre Capper has moved up. Christian Abt, who this year is not driving for his family team but for the Yost squad, he's in the top 10 also. And the OS squad running the last year's cars, running that 10 kilos lighter. Top speeds here just about 262, 263 kilometres an hour, about 150 miles an hour. And presumably the door will shut on Gary Paffett's car when he reaches that speed, but in the corners it's coming open, and that's certainly worrying him a little bit. Heinz Harald Frentzen retires, helmet off. So a second round of pit stops to come, and maybe the team can just put a little bit of racer tape on that door. Here is the order: Schneider, Paffett, Ekstrom, FÄSSLER, Green, and Pierre Kaffer. And Kaffer, a youngster who came out of Porsche Racing, and Alan McNish moves up again to 7th place, ahead of Stippler and other the newcomers in this now 8-car Audi squad. Talk, of course, of MG joining with 2 cars built by Zakspeed. That's all on hold at the moment due to the problems that MG have. And here, another pit stop from Gary Paffett, his second stop. And as we said, these are the fastest pit stops anywhere in racing. Any number of mechanics are allowed. And look at them go to work, and the car is launched off down the pit lane again. And Paffett comes out behind Schneider. So Paffett makes his second stop early. There's a bit of tape. They've tried to take the door together. Let's hope that that holds. And Paffett at the moment under pressure then. And we can see this Paffett pit stops. Watch for the man with the piece of tape. There it goes on right there. And they're still putting it on as the car accelerates away. Good work indeed, and a bit of nudging going on here. Marcel FÄSSLER trying to overtake Bruno Spengler, the French-Canadian. And he's another man, and look at that! FÄSSLER spins, just risked a little bit too much. And Spengler, other man to come out of the Euro F3 series. Perhaps we can see that replay. Yes, here it is coming up. Well, I think you have to put the blame there on FÄSSLER. Let's hear what the man from Switzerland has to say.
When I was next side by him, he pushed me too much on the right side and he gave me not the place. So I spun in this fast right-hander before the Mercedes corner. And after that, my tires were completely destroyed and they never came back, so I could not go the pace anymore.
Well, I have to say I didn't quite see it like that. I think FÄSSLER made a mistake entering the corner. But racing drivers don't normally think they're at fault. All the second pit stops now complete, so this really is the race to the line. And look at Jean Alesi, that superb strategy coming in late, then a second short stint has taken him into the lead. Gary Paffett is second, Ekstrom is third, Schneider is in 4th place, then it's Jamie Green, Christian Abt, FÄSSLER, Kaffer and Mika Alan McNish in 10th spot. So that's your top 10 here. There is FÄSSLER continuing on his way, but as you heard him say after the race, the tyres not giving him any grip at all. Great action then looking back as Bernd Schneider attacks Matthias Ekstrom. And Schneider passes Ekstrom. I'm sure we'll be able to see that in replay in just a moment. Here it comes. And look at Schneider late on the brakes. And well, basically got Ekstrom to run a little bit wide by putting the pressure on him. There was a hole for him to go, he went straight through it. And Bernd Schneider, well, he may be 40, he may have been racing a very long time, but he still knows some very good tricks. On board then with Ekstrom briefly there. There is Paffett. Patrick still with that. See that door's come open again, so that racer tape did not work. In front of Schneider and Ekstrom, and then Green with the orange mirrors. And a very good performance by Christian Abt. Still with a 2004 car. Must be really strange for him racing for Jost rather than the family team. The new Audis, the 2005 Audis with the single-piece grille, are all run by the Abt family team. And the older Audis, and there is one of them with Christian Abt on board, are run by Jost Racing, better known, of course, for their sports car successes. So Abt running well up in 5th place. Following Christian Abt still. Ekstrom, young man, likes the quiet life in the country in Sweden when he's not racing. Lives with the famous co-driver Tina Turner, one of Sweden's best-known rally stars. And a great overtaking manoeuvre there as Alan McNish drops back a place. But the car with smoke going slowly, that's the Audi of Pierre Caffer. And Caffer flashing his lights. He has a puncture, that's why we've got the sparks. The bodywork has dropped down, and the smoke is actually from a delaminating tyre. Now, we didn't see what happened with that. Did he just pick up a puncture from debris, or did he collide? And look, the wheels even locked in position there, and that car is certainly heading for retirement. Here we see what happened. Yeah. Caffer and Mika collide, and Caffer comes out the worst of the pair. Mika in the 2004 Mercedes. And there you see it again, and Caffer turned in. Mika took the advantage. There was an opening there, and here he comes into the pits. Pierre Caffer had such a great opening season last year in the American Le Mans, running straight into the garage, running in the Audi R8, I was about to say. This is a very different machine. Pierre Caffer, who came out of Porsche Super Cup racing. And a hot three-way battle going on between Green, Ekstrom and Abt just behind them. That is the trio right in your picture now. Green in the Audi sandwich. He is the meat in the Audi sandwich. And Abt proving that these older style cars are still very competitive. Yes, they're running 10 kilos lighter, but that isn't that much. There's that much difference between the weights of some of the drivers, of course. There you see the times between Ekstrom and Green. And Green's best that little bit quicker than Ekstrom. So Jamie Green, the young man from Leicester, giving superb account of himself. And Gary Paffett, expect him to go well. Coming under attack from Schneider, that door still flapping around. Into the final 8 laps here at Hockenheim. In front of this huge 100,000 plus crowd. They love the DTM. They support the different manufacturers. And they love the roar of the cars, the close racing, the access they have to the paddock. The big names who are on parade here, but a lot of them are being humbled by a young man from Leicester with no touring car experience at all, Jamie Green. And Green really getting stuck in right up the exhaust of the reigning champion. Green has a look down the inside now, and a great move by Green. Green moves ahead, and can he make it stick? No, he can't. Yes, he can. Fantastic racing. They come back in front of the crowd here across the start-finish line, and Green for 4th place. It's this battle, and they touch, I think, there. Green twitches, Green goes off into the gravel, but he's lucky, gets back on again, and through all that, Christian Abt goes round Ekstrom. Oh, my goodness me. Tremendous battle just outside the podium here. So it is Abt now behind this trio of Mercedes-Benz. So it's a lazy Paffett, Schneider, Abt, Ekstrom, and then a Green. We can see it again. Just watch, just the twitch there. The car, the rear end steps out. He corrects. That means he goes into the gravel. He keeps the power on. The gravel flies. He's back on the tarmac. Again, you see it. And, well, that won't have helped his tyres, of course. And during the incident, of course, Christian Abt took his chance. Meanwhile, Gary Paffett and Bernd Schneider, not for the first time, are wheel to wheel. They're battling for second place in the C-Class Mercedes-Benz. Remember, it was at the start of 2004 that the DTM switched to the four-door body shape. Let's just look at that battle. Well, we look briefly out of Ekstrom's rather dirty windscreen. And meanwhile, Jean Alesi, he has motored away from the rest of the field. The man who spent, well, almost 12 years in Formula One. The last couple of seasons has finished fifth and seventh in the DTM. And 3 victories over that period. So this is his 4th year in the DTM, and he's starting it off in a great fashion. Ekstrom continuing on his way as the laps count down towards the checkered flag now. And the lead between Paffett and Schneider just a mere 0.6, but they are over 5 seconds now ahead of their pursuers. Abt and Ekstrom still running very close together, and Ekstrom still has to watch his mirrors for Green, who then has a big gap over Mika, who has a gap of just under 2 seconds over that man there. Mika HÄKKINEN making his return to racing, the double world champion, of course, in consecutive years with a McLaren. Mika's done a little bit of rallying since he hung up his racing crash helmet. Done the Arctic Rally for a couple of years and certainly enjoyed battling on the ice and snow. And what's this all about? Tyres being readied. That's rain tyres are being readied. And indeed, we have been racing under somewhat leaden skies. And maybe we have the first few drops of rain. And there, Green misses his brake point at the Parabolica and drops back a little bit more. So the pressure of this race starting to tell a little bit on Jamie Green now. Jean Alesi, though, has been magnificent in this race. There is Alesi, just look at the gap between him and Paffett, and it is lengthened by another 0.3 of a second over Gary Paffett. Paffett too concerned with the battle with Schneider and that door coming open. Here is Jamie Green going through your picture. Abt and Ekstrom still contesting position. Just checking out the other gaps through the field. And HÄKKINEN chasing after the white car of Stefan Mika, whose family, of course, run a Formula 3 team. Stefan having coming out of the German Formula 3 Championship. And the 2004 and 2005 Mercedes look pretty similar from the outside. I'm told that there are a lot of changes under the bodywork. Alesi, Paffett, Schneider, that's your top 3. Christian Abt leading the rest for Audi. And HÄKKINEN, there you see out of his windscreen. And I think Mika will be pretty pleased with his performance. As we said before, the management of the tyres in the DTM is absolutely crucial to the way you finish. And the tyres need to be cared for during the length of the race, albeit the 3 different sets that the cars run. You can see quite a little bit of tyre debris on the side. And HÄKKINEN and Mika together as this race heads towards its final handful of laps here at a packed Hockenheim Motordrome. We're close to the town, the university town of Heidelberg here. Very pleasant region of Germany. Mika then versus HÄKKINEN. I wonder if Mika can get past Stefan Mika. There you see the mural down the side of the Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes, of course, have been a mainstay of this DTM Championship right from the early days with the 190 model. Well, the cars have certainly changed since then. All these cars are space frame tubular chassis clothed in this carbon fibre bodywork. They are not sheet metal frame cars. They are this special racing chassis. Just saw Schneider and Paffett going through the picture, and Paffett seems to have picked up a bit of a gap. Green, despite his two off-course excursions, still definitely on target for a very good result. Back on board with HÄKKINEN as he pursues Stefan Mika in the stadium section. Always a lot of noise in here. And the fans use the air horn. Sometimes they let off the thunder flashes. Final 3 laps now, and Jean Alesi continues in the lead. This the battle for 7th place between Stefan Mika, former Formula 3 ace, and Mika HÄKKINEN. In his time, of course, a Formula 3 champion in Britain. Subsequently, a superb Grand Prix racer. There is Marcel FÄSSLER still battling with those tyres, which are badly damaged from that wild encounter earlier on. But it looks as if FÄSSLER will still finish up as the best of the Opel runners. Not a happy day, though, for team boss Walter Stejcek. Lost 2 of his best cars early on and just running the 4 machines this year, the 4 Vectras. Remember, Opel used to run Astras in the past and switched to the Vectra model last year. But this apparently is the last year for Opel in this championship, which doesn't mean to say they've reduced the effort for 2005. Indeed, they feel they've made very good progress with the car. Yeah, here we are in the stadium as Jean Alesi puts down another lap. We can check out the gap. It was 6.1 seconds last time around. It is just a fraction more than that this time. And so, for the start of 2005, it looks as if Mercedes-Benz are going to occupy all top 3 places on that podium, all the places on the podium, with Audi finishing the best of the rest with their 2004 car of Abt, and last year's champion Ekstrom just heading home at Jamie Green. Then it's the Mika HÄKKINEN battle behind that. Certainly enlivened this race into the last 2 laps, and that rain, well, there's just a spot. There is Norbert Haug on the phone. Not sure if he's ordering a pizza or ordering a celebration dinner for the whole crew. They certainly deserve it. Great start to the season for the 3-pointed star. And a great start to the season for Jean Alesi, of course. And Alesi involved with the organisation of the first ever street race in Avignon, which is in the DTM a little later in the year. A bit of red tape to be sorted out before that can happen, but I know Jean's confident that it will take place, and apparently it's a super circuit in the streets of Avignon. We look forward to that. In the middle there, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, the head of Audi Sport. He'll be a little disappointed, I'm sure, with the car starting on pole position and no chance of a podium today, thanks to the might of Mercedes-Benz, who have always tended to dominate this Hockenheim race. They've won most of the recent years, on the last lap now. Norbert Haug's climbed down from the stand, will go to celebrate with his team from the HWA organisation who build these cars. He will be on the pit wall, no doubt, and he will be delighted to see the former Grand Prix veteran Jean Alesi score his first victory in the DTM for over a year. And look at Mika going a bit wide and wild there in his attempts to get past Mika. And there you see from on board just a little bit of over-exuberance. Regains the track and loses any chance of getting past Mika. There then Gary Paffett starting his season well. Won this race last year, however. And Paffett has been able to hold off Bernd Schneider. But Jean Alesi has come out of the box absolutely at top speed and heads towards the checkered flag. And the veteran Frenchman takes the victory here. Round one of the DTM goes to Alesi, to Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes take first, second and third. There comes across the line, weaving. Maybe it was just starting to run out of fuel. And then it's Ekstrom. And a magnificent sixth place for the rookie, Jamie Green. And we go across the line there with the Finn, Mika HÄKKINEN.
The team worked very well. I had a very good strategy, a three-pit strategy, and finishing third was something I did not expect. But everything worked perfect, and I must say thank you to my team that they make everything so quick in the pit, and that was the reason that I could finish third.
Yes, indeed. He finished third. There you see him in our top 10 with Jean Alesi winning after the 37 laps by a huge margin for the DTM of 5.6 seconds. Apt fourth, the best of the Audis. Ekstrom, Jamie Green, what a remarkable race from the young man from Leicester. And Alan McNish finishes 11th in his first DTM race. And now we can hear from Gary Paffett.
I was struggling with oversteer for the whole race, and it made it very, very difficult. It's a shame because, you know, I'm pretty sure I had the car quick enough to win the race, and we finished second. So it's a great result for the team and for myself to finish second. But you know, I'd really have liked to have won the race again at the start of the year. So.
And that leaves the points looking like this after one round. But let's hear from the winner.
I'm extremely happy. You know, last year I didn't win any races, and that was tough for me. I had a tough winter because you know, in our team we are tough workers, and when you cannot bring anything to your team, they ask you, are you sure you want to continue, and are you sure you want to be motivated for the whole season? That is the best answer I can give for everybody, to be first.
Well, some interesting words there from Alesi. Sounds as if they put quite a lot of pressure on him. Well, if he had any critics, he certainly answered them today. And the champagne sprays. And we can hear now from a very happy boss of Mercedes-Benz, Norbert Haug.
Basically, it was more than you can dream of. There were 6 cars in the 8-point ranks. I mean, that is amazing. We have had 10 at the start in the first 10, and now 6 in the first 10 at the start, and 6 among the first 8. That's incredible. Sean did an exceptional drive. All of our drivers were very competitive.
And Jean Alesi certainly was competitive. You see him there.
It was very tough because we lost immediately after the start 2 cars during the starting accident. And a little bit later, the car of Heinz-Harald Frentzen again with an accident. But Marcel FÄSSLER was in a really good pace. He started in the second row and he was on the third position and had a really big fight with Gary Paffett and Matthias Ekström. And that showed us that the car is in a good performance, and is really, really positive for the whole team to see that the car is really able to follow the Mercedes and also the Audi.
And was Mika happy with his DTM debut?
It's been a great weekend, really enjoyable. I've been having a great feeling with the fans, and it's great. Thanks for the organizers that we can enter the pits to see the drivers, to feel the driver, to touch the driver, get the autograph, get the picture. and get the feeling for the atmosphere of the DTM. It's been a great weekend.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the big surprise here in Hockenheim, and we're looking forward to see you again at the Euro Speedway at Lausitzring. See you later. Bye.
Yes, thanks, Heinz Harold. That round 2 coming up from Euro Speedway in a couple of weeks' time. But let's leave you with some of the images of a DTM race which started with a huge accident, but ultimately finished with John Alesi scoring his first victory since 2003. We had some good action. We had a Mercedes-Benz 1-2-3, and we had the old Audi beating the new Audi. For me, Andrew Marriott, goodbye until the next time.